With the 2.3 update right now in Wuthering Waves, Crow decided for the first anniversary that it'd be a great idea to bring back every limited 5-star character between the 1.0 and 2.1 update. So alongside ZANI in Phase 1 and CIACCONA in Phase 2, you have 5 other limited 5-star characters that you can pull for, including their signature weapons. So in this video, I'm going to quickly give you the pros and cons for each character to see if you want to add them to your roster. So first up, let's cover ZANI since she is the new character. Pros: she's the premier Spectro Frazzle DPS unit. She's one of the only characters that can take advantage of Spectro Frazzle alongside Phoebe and Spectro Rover. Not only is her kit easy to use, but you can also get damage reduction and fully block attacks. Even though her signature gauntlets are very good for her, there are the other limited 5-star gauntlets you can use with her kit. They will work. ZANI's main and only con is that she's only going to work with those Spectro Frazzle teams. So if you don't want to pull for Phoebe, you don't have Spectro Rover built, she's not going to work really well because, again, a lot of her kit revolves around having that Spectro Frazzle debuff. Personally, for me, I already like Spectro Rover, and then when Phoebe came out, having Phoebe be a main DPS, now I have Phoebe as a sub-DPS. For ZANI, I really like the Spectro Frazzle team, and I have a whole guide on ZANI if you want to check that out on the channel. I really like her, but again, it's up to you if you want to pull for her or not. Now, going over the Phase 1 anniversary banners. First up, Jiyan. Pros: he has extremely good crowd control and his combos are very easy to understand. Once you pop his Relentless Liberation, you can literally just hold down your basic attack button and he does the attacks automatically, so it's really good for things like Whimpering Waves, for example. For cons, number 1, even though Mortefi and Alto can buff him and Mortefi is a fantastic option for him, he doesn't have a dedicated 5-star sub-DPS unit yet. Number 2, you need his signature Broadblade to really bring out the damage of his kit because the standard 5-star is not going to do much. It's basically just a stat stick, and even though the Battle Pass one is a good option for him, not everyone is going to have the Battle Pass unlocked. He is a decent option, but like I said, there are more cons than pros at the moment. Next, let's talk about Yinlin. Number 1, she's one of the characters that has the coordinated attack damage when she's off field, and the difference with hers between some other ones is that you can actually mark multiple targets and deal some AoE damage, so you can actually deal damage to multiple targets with her kit. And number 2, not only does she buff electro damage, but also Relentless Liberation damage, which is good not only for Xiangli out and Colcharo since they can both take advantage of that, but pretty much any character that deals higher Relentless Liberation damage, she is going to buff. And number 3, her signature Rectifier String Master is just a good general rectifier to have. It has a high crit rate stat, which means you can make up for any missed stats with your echoes. And the rectifier also works with multiple other resonators, including Zhezhi and Cantarella as well. Yinlin's only con at the moment, in my opinion, is that she's limited to those electro-based teams, and even though Xiangli out is really good, and if you have a well-built Colcharo, definitely go ahead and use them, but outside of that, I really don't use her with any other characters. So even if you don't end up pulling for Yinlin, you may want to pull for her signature rectifier. Next, let's talk about Zhezhi. Pros: number 1, her Ultra skill buffs both Glacial and Resonance skill, which is good for characters like Carlotta and also Jinhsi. Number 2, she also has coordinated attacks through her Resonance Liberation, which again is going to be good for characters like Jinhsi since you need to get those coordinated attacks in to charge her Forte bar. And number 3, she actually deals some solid burst damage as a sub-DPS with her Forte circuit attacks. The only con I really have for Zhezhi is that you don't necessarily need her signature, and even though it is extremely good, especially when she's off field, it basically buffs her basic attack damage, which is what her Resonance Liberation is considered. You can just sub in String Master, you know, Yinlin's weapon, like I mentioned. But if you are pulling for Carlotta and or Jinhsi, would highly recommend pulling for Zhezhi. Next, let's talk about Xiangli out. If you're someone who played during the 1.2 update, we actually got this guy for free, and he is pretty strong, so if you already got him and you want multiple copies, you might want to look into it. For his pros, he's one of the highest dealing damage characters in the game when played correctly. Again, you have to have good substats, and you also have to have a good sub-DPS unit with him, but overall, he does extremely good damage. And also a part of his Resonance Liberation, he actually slows down time similar to how Spectro Rover's outro has that stagnation effect, which leads into the thing that I kind of like is that when I pair him up with somebody like Changli, I have a really good Quickswap DPS team between the two of them. Plus, as a general note, all of his Resonance Chain bonuses are a direct DPS increase to him, so if you want to go for more copies, you're just going to make him even stronger. For his weaknesses, number 1, if you don't use all 3 sequences of his cubes within the 24-second duration of his Relentless Liberation, you're out all that damage, and again, a lot of his damage is going to come when he's in that Resonance Liberation state. But outside of that, as long as you learn his optimal combos, he can be a very strong DPS unit for your team. And the last limited character you could pull for in Phase 1 is Phoebe. Pros: number 1, she could take advantage of Spectro Frazzle, which again is going to work well with not only Spectro Rover, but also ZANI. Number 2, she has a great mix of crowd control and DPS and can shred Spectro resistance with her outro skill. And number 3, the thing that I really like is that she can function as a main DPS unit or a sub-DPS unit. So even if you decide not to pull for ZANI to make Phoebe a sub-DPS unit, you can make her a main DPS with having Spectro Rover back her up with the Spectro Frazzle stacks. Also, even though her signature rectifier is extremely good, you can also summon the String Master one, which is Yinlin's, the standard 5-star, or if you got Ocean's Gift, which was the free 4-star that you could get up to rank 5 during the 2.1 update, that is a very good substitute. So you do have a free 4-star option if you play during the update. And similar to ZANI, Phoebe's main con is you need to have characters that can apply the Spectro Frazzle debuff to really take advantage of her kit. So if you're someone who built Spectro Rover and you pull for ZANI, hey, you're in luck. But if you don't have Spectro Rover built and you don't plan on pulling for ZANI, you may just want to skip Phoebe. Now let's talk about Phase 2 of the update and the new Resonator, CIACCONA. Now, outside of what they showed off in the live stream of her being able to have, her musical specters on the field and being able to apply Aero Erosion and Spectro Frazzle with her kit, there really isn't much else known about what she can do unless there's some crazy leakers out there, which if you don't want to be spoiled, don't go watch that. But I'm going to assume since her kit does have Aero Erosion in it, it's somehow going to buff Aero Rover and potentially another Resonator that might come out, if we get Carlotta, for example. So really the two main pros in my opinion are, number 1, she can deal the new Aero Erosion type debuff, and she's also the second limited 5-star pistol character that we can pull for. The only cons really is that we just don't know enough about her, so when she comes out, again, I will be dropping a guide on the entire build that you want to go for and how her kit works. Moving on to the Phase 2 anniversary banners, first up we have Jinhsi. Pros: she has the highest damage nuke in the game if you can set it up perfectly. Again, there are other characters that have very good nuke skills, but Jinhsi's is clearly still very strong. She hasn't been power crept just yet. And number 2, she's one of the few characters that can take advantage of in-air combat, which is something that I do really like about her kit. The only cons really is that you may want to pull for her signature weapons since a lot of her main damage is considered resonance skill damage. That's the only Broadblade that can buff that at the moment. The standard 5-star gets a resonance liberation bump when you hit things with your resonance skill, so that does help her a little, but you also don't gain any crit rate or crit damage buffs. And number 2, without her S2, she heavily relies on the coordinated attacks to generate, the incandescence on her forte bar, so that's why I recommended you pull for Zhezhi, or if you're someone who already has Cantarella, again, Jinhsi will work there as well. And if you're someone who strictly wants to go for the numbers aspect, being able to deal the highest damage in the game, you may just strictly want to pull for Jinhsi. Next, one of my favorite characters to this day, Changli. For pros, she's one of the most flexible characters in the game in my opinion, functioning as both a main and a sub DPS on top of being able to buff that resonance liberation damage, which pretty much every character in the game can take advantage of. Number 2, her kit buffs herself every time you get a forte stack, allowing you to deal even more damage the higher it goes. And number 3, I find her attacks are some of the easiest to parry with in the entire game. Plus, she has the Quickswap playstyle that works with Xiangli, Havoc Rover, and plenty of other characters. Also, her signature sword, Blazing Brilliance, is really good, not only for her, but also for Rover. That includes Spectro, Havoc, and Aero Rover, since it helps buff resonance skill damage, which all of them can take advantage of. Honestly, her only con really is that she doesn't deal as much damage as some other main DPS units because she also does buff fusion and resonance liberation damage on her outro skills. So if they had her damage match up with some of the other main DPSs in the game, people would be like, you have to pull for Changli. But since she doesn't have the highest DPS in the game, that's why some people may want to skip her. But personally, like I said, she's one of my favorite characters to play in the game. Her kit's very easy to understand, parries real well, and if you like the quick swap playstyle, she's great for that. Next up, let's talk about Carlotta, the first 5-star pistol character. Pros: she has some of the highest DPS in the game, and all of her main attacks, which is her forte, resonance skill, and resonance liberation, are all considered resonance skill damage, which lets you really hyper focus on substats on echoes. Number 2, she has the dedicated 5-star support unit in Zhezhi, buffing both Glacio and resonance skill damage. And number 3, she has a dedicated echo set and Frosty Resolve, which is just going to buff her resonance skill damage even more. Plus, she's the one pistol character that can actually parry enemy attacks. All the other pistol characters, from what I've found, cannot do that at all. She can parry them extremely easily. The main cons with Carlotta's kit is that her skill and her resonance liberation have a very long cooldown. This is why Zhezhi is extremely helpful, because it's going to help with her resonance liberation regeneration. If you can get past that, she is one of the best characters to have in the game right now. Next up, Roccia. pros. Number 1, she's the premium Havoc sub DPS unit for Camellya. Number 2, she could take advantage of the Midnight Veil Echo set, which allows her to buff Havoc damage even more on outro, which is just going to help Camellya. And number 3, similar to Zhezhi, she actually deals really good damage with her kit, so even though she might have some more on-field time versus somebody like Sanhua, she can deal a lot more damage. And lastly, her kit has traction, so she's really good for crowd control and pulling those enemies into one spot. Her main con is that her rotation is slower than Sanhua, which I understand. If you already have S6 Sanhua and you have a good sword for her, go ahead and use Sanhua. She's great. She still buffs basic attack damage even higher than Roccia. But even with S6 Sanhua, S0 Roccia can still buff Camellya even more, especially with the Havoc damage bonus, so keep that in mind. And the last character we're going to talk about is Brant. For his pros, he's a versatile fusion DPS. His kit is interesting because not only does he heal and give shield, but also he has a nuke skill, so that's kind of unique. Number 2, he's the one character that can take advantage of the tie-breaking courage set, which makes his kit very strong. And number 3, his outro buffs both fusion and resin skill damage, which is perfect for Changli. And since Changli buffs fusion and resin separation damage, the buffs between the two of them together can just help each other out a lot. For his cons, he is harder to build out because of his high stat requirements, specifically the energy regen, and that kind of leads into the limited weapon options. His signature is extremely good for him, but outside that, you don't really have another one that's going to make his kit extremely good. But if you like characters with those mid-air combos, Brant is really just a mix between Tao Chi being able to have the shield and buff resin skill damage, and also Camellya being able to have the in-air spin attacks. And that kind of leads us to the last con of, unless you're going to use him with Changli, he really doesn't have another dedicated team to work on just yet. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is my quick pros and con list for all of the pullable characters that are coming with the 2.3 update. If you have a different opinion on any of these characters, definitely let me know in the comments. Like I said, I've tested out pretty much every single one of these characters. I've made guides and kit breakdowns on every single one of these characters. So again, I'm mixing, the facts of how their kit works on top of just my general opinions of what I've seen since I started playing this game day one. There are some characters I like, there's some that I don't like, and there's some that just kind of stand the test of time, and hopefully a lot of them don't get power crept with any of the future updates. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. In any event, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like on it, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that bell next to notifications so you don't miss out on any other Wuthering Waves content we have coming out here on the channel. If you didn't know, we live stream here on YouTube and then also over on Twitch. That link will be in the description. I typically stream Wuthering Waves whenever we have a new update, there's a new event, or a new banner is out, and usually there's always drops available as well, so if you want some extra materials, be sure to tune on into the stream. Also, if you want to join my community, hop in my Discord. That link will also be in the description. We have plenty of people talking about Wuthering Waves, other gotcha games, and then plenty of other topics, including gaming, tech, and anime. Lastly, if you want to help support the channel even more, you can look into becoming a member. Now, if you don't know what a membership is, it's essentially like a Twitch subscription, but it's technically cheaper. You're going to gain access to exclusive emotes, monthly badges, and the main benefit, which is getting access to all of my long-form videos early. So, if you would like some more information, all you have to do is press the join button next subscribe, and I'll give you a rundown with all the details you need. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's been your boy. We'll catch you in the next video.